live. All right,
Going live.
Make sure I got the right stream key in. Yep, there you go. Okay. Give it a little second. Let the little thing span. Your audience will see this in a moment. Okay. That's good. They better hurry the hell up. All right. Nah, take their time. Once I get about like 5-10 people, shit, we start.
All right.
Stop knocking on my door. God damn. Tripping. And he's still doing it. There's the first comment. That's what's up. I hate how long it shows people popping in. I hate that shit. It should update instantly. Somebody come in.
Yeah, no, I know, bro. I know.
YouTube be tripping. YouTube be on some shit. Well, we can start in like a minute, I guess. Shit.
When should you quit music? That's an intense title. This is an intense podcast, bro.
Boy.
I don't know if you noticed.
They'll see. If it's anything like last time, they know. They know to expect.
This shit is not for play. All right.
I heard that term in a long time.
Well, I'm old. Shit.
Okay. Well, shit. Okay. I guess that's how people is coming. Let me refresh.
I don't know if the title is encouraging me or not. I'm not fucking here to encourage you. I'm here to tell you exactly when to quit your fucking bullshit music career. I'm playing with y'all.
And some people, man, you can see a lot of beat stars, SoundClouds, goddamn YouTube's get deleted.
Yo, so all right, so this topic came up. Probably how a lot of topics are going to come up on this podcast, just shit I see in the producer community in different places where I participate in discussion and or troll. And one of them, somebody was asking when have you ever quit music, and and how'd you feel about that? And now instantly my knee-jerk reaction was like, wow, bro, like you're soft as fuck, because the reason why I create music is because I love to create music. So it's just like them boys that love to play basketball, and they play basketball until they're 40, in the park and in the men's league, and then they tear their ACLs and they can't play basketball anymore, and then they go and then they go coach basketball. I know people, if you're grown as fuck, you have friends. So it's like so from my perspective, let me explain y'all how my day is, and I'm gonna give it over to Mr. Different so he could tell y'all how his day is as far as creation goes. This is what I do. Okay, I go to work, right. I go to work on a construction site every day, and I manage my employees, and I build beautiful things, and I solve a whole bunch of problems. I communicate with racist white people who don't see me as nothing but a monkey who didn't graduate college, and now I'm stuck in this construction job. And I deal with all that shit. And then I get in the work truck and I throw all that away and I race home, and I come home and I take the fastest shower I could possibly take. And then I run into this room that you see me in right now. I run into this room. This room was literally my dream. When I was 15 years old and I first started recording my own music, I was like, yo, I just, when I'm a grown up, what I want to be able to have a room in my home that is a full production studio that I could come and create whatever type of music I get. So I come home and I shower as fast as I can. And then I start a mental countdown of how long it's going to be before I go to sleep. And that is how much time I have to do what I love. And that's how my day works. And that's how, and so not only is music like a love and an addiction and a passion, but it's also a coping mechanism for me to go out and deal with these normal ass humans, in the construction world, people who aren't really creative and who have all these different types of problems. I got to go out and put my mask on. And then when I come in here, it's fucking mask off. You know what I mean? And I get to do what I could do. And I can't understand a reality or picture any type of scenario where there wasn't a space wherever I lived to do this. So for me, that question is completely ludicrous. And I have some thoughts on how people come to that, but I want to give a chance for Slim to kind of share what his day is like, so you know, so you can see a different page of it.
Yeah, well, see, I'm a whole lot. I say I'm a stay-at-home dad at this point. Like I say, I'm a stay-at-home producer. That's what I do. What I do is I wake up every morning at like 6 o'clock because the kids up, and when they up, they up. You can't sit there and be like, shit, I need 5 more minutes. Nah, when they up, they turn the house up, get them all ready for school. Well, get one ready for school and get the other two ready for the midday. My girl takes my oldest to school and she goes to work. And then I'm stuck with 2 youngest. And then pretty much my whole day is like until about, I would say, all the way to about 3 o'clock, go get my son, get him out of school, come back home. That's when I start music. When she get off work, that's when I start music. But most of the day is straight watching kids, watching Disney Junior all day, you know, Paw Patrol, all that. I know all the shows. So I know them all by heart. You know, I watch them every day. But as soon as you get home, first thing I do, come to my studio, I check YouTube, see what's going on, check my comments, all that. I check I got any beats. I got like a little whiteboard, you probably can't see, but there's a whiteboard up there that got my list of stuff to do. It's either make beats, do mixes, whatever, because as soon as you get home, like around 5 o'clock, I usually leave to go to my studio job. And I'm in the studio until about 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, 9, 10 o'clock. Sometimes I stay to 12. It just depends. But I'm in the studio recording, making beats, mixing, going over projects. Now we're working on music videos and getting stuff like that, figuring out how we're going to get stuff on different platforms. So it's a lot of business in that aspect because we're building a team like that. I'm also on call for another studio that I go to on the weekends, you know. So they need me yesterday. That's why we couldn't stream yesterday. They're like, hey, one of the guys didn't show up. You think you coming today? I know you're on the weekend, but hey, it's extra money, blah, blah. You know, I'm like, why not? So I got in a car, shot down to Atlanta, you know, came back. So, you know, it's hard out there, but at the same time, it's like, I've been building up for this for so long. You know what I'm saying? That I always wanted to straight work in the studio. Took me a long time to get to that point, but now I'm at the point where, you know, I can't see myself doing anything else. Like I said, I quit my job to do this full time. I actually quit my job to do YouTube full time, you know, once I saved up a bunch of money. And then it just segued into me working in different studios, working with different people and all that.
What was your job before?
I was a material handler and a injection operator at a goddamn plastic molding company. So,
did you like it?
Hell no.
Fuck no, you didn't like your job at all?
No, hell no. I hated the shit out of it. But at the same time, I mean, you can't argue with $16+ an hour. You ain't gonna say, you know, especially when you're young, you got kids, you got bills to pay, you know. You ain't gonna say no. And at the time I thought, and I looked at it.
Do you have a degree? Do you have a degree or anything?
I don't have a degree. I was close to getting my degree. I dropped out of college because it was like, I was like, fuck this shit. You know?
Yeah, so you're definitely not turning down those $16 an hour. You do whatever.
I was like, fuck no. But like I said, I mean, like I said, I was, you know, I was looking at the opportunity, like, shit, I'm making $16 an hour. I can take this money, build my dream studio, build my studio, get it the way I want to get, put money in the back end, you know, take all that time to really, you know, invest in myself. You know, start buying what I need to buy, get what I need to get, send away I need to set, get my car, give me a car. I got 2 cars, you know, so I have just in case something happens, so I can, you know, travel here and there. Like, I took that opportunity to do it. I hated it every day. Like, I mean, because at that point when I was working my job, I would literally wake up, like, I would go to work at 11 p.m. to goddamn 7:30 a.m. So I work a third shift. I would sleep all fucking day until like a couple hours to eat, see my kids for a little bit, put them to bed, and right back at work. You know, I had every little opportunity I had for music was on the weekends, or if I didn't get no sleep that day, I did music. But you know, it was a pain. You know, so I had to get out of it. So I did the right thing, is save my money up, saved about 6 months of money up, you know, for bills and all that, and said, fuck it, I'm gonna do this. If it don't work out, I'm gonna quit on a good note. So if I need to go back, I can go back. You know, I didn't do the stupid thing like, hey, fuck everybody in the job, bye, I'm out. You know,
yeah.
I ain't
when you say quit, you mean quit your job, not quit music.
Yeah, quit my job. But there was a point in time. There's a point in time I did think about quitting music when I was in the
Okay. Boom.
You know.
So let's go there. Since I've never had that thought and you had, let's explore it. What was going on, Slim, where you were like, I think I want to stop making music?
Well, it got to a point where, like I said, I got it was around the time my firstborn. He was about, I would say 3 or 4. And, you know, I was going through some shit. I ain't gonna lie, I was on drugs and shit like that. You know, I was drinking, smoking, all that heavily, bad. Shouldn't have been doing that.
I see you were partying.
Yeah, got kicked out of my house. Had nowhere to live. I was bouncing, you know, I was working at McDonald's. And I was staying with friends. I was staying with different friends, you know, for 3 months straight, 3-4 months, I was bouncing between different places. You know, I ain't had nowhere to go. Making money on child support. You know,
Oh,
I mean,
so they were hitting your whole
boy,
McDonald's check, bro.
I made no lie. I made every week. I made $150. They would take 97.
All right, so you were in that
you know,
place. You were in that place where
it's like
you're hungry,
right.
you're homeless. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And you have your music dream, but was it a thing where you were like man, I'm foregoing all of my responsibilities as a man and music is getting in the way? Is that how you felt? Or
It's more like I just didn't have no time for it. It's like, well, I said I can't do it. Like I said, I can't. If I focus on music, I'm putting all this other stuff that's important to me, like trying to find somewhere to stay. I worked my ass off to finally say get a car, and you know, me and my girl worked it out, and all this crack. We were going through some shit, and I was being a dickhead, you know, partying around the streets and everything that. You know, was walking. I was bad.
You could run the streets with
I was bad. I was bad, motherfucker. You know, but no, I'm glad that happened, because if that didn't happen, once I got straight, you know, it's like fuck it. Now I'm straight. I think it's time to do this music thing. Like I said, then I got a plant job, my first plant job, and then boom. After that, you know, it's like shit. I'm making a little money. I said I'm quit McDonald's, all that shit. I said, you know, now I start making money. I'm gonna start focusing on music, and after that, I just kept growing and growing and growing, rising and rising. It's just, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do at first. That's the main thing. But that's how I was. But I was at the point where I was like, you know, fuck music. You know, it probably, I was at the time where it was like, you know, like if it didn't happen right away, I was like, fuck it. That's how I was. That's my mind was back in the day. I was like,
you were impatient.
Exactly. I was like, you know, I need to make, I see too many people making money off this. I want to, but I was like, you know what? Music, once I learned that music takes time, you got to just do it at your own speed. If I just, you know, I realized that, and then I just did it at a slow, I can say a slower pace, but I did it at a smarter pace, in a smarter way.
Listen. I want to go back to what you just said. I want to look at everybody in the eye and tell y'all, music takes time.
Exactly.
It takes time. I want to kind of unpack what Slim was saying, because I feel like a lot of people who think about quitting, they have like a type of similar thing. You start as a creative, probably in high school. You know, you start messing around with things. You want to express yourself. Right. You make your groups and everything, and then you get out of high school, you get thrown into the real world. So one, you're dealing with the shock of, you know, everything that comes from being sheltered with your parents taking care of you financially, to you trying to figure out life, which is not easy for the millennial generation, especially, you know, because you know, we have, even though I'm like the oldest millennial you'll hear talk, like we have the situation where our parents, all they had to do was just go work somewhere. Exactly. And they would be straight. You know, us, we go work somewhere and we don't have enough money to afford internet. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. But a lot of people get to a point where they get hit with those responsibilities, and then they think about the time for making music. And as a creative, you're already so focused on art, you think that it's the most important thing, and then you get faced with, you know, right, what actually is the most important thing. You think that it's impossible to balance the two. But I mean, you hear me, bro, like I'm like, dude, I'm a like in my day job, I'm like the biggest deal that you can be. And it's not to stun on anybody, but it's just like, and to get to that point, it wasn't because I wasn't working at that goal. It was a goal that I set. I had to destroy everybody that was above me. I had to be a better craftsman. I had to, you know, study and get my electrical license, because that's how I am. If I'm a rapper, I'm gonna be the best rapper. If I'm a producer, I'm gonna be the best producer. If I'm gonna put on tools at 6 o'clock in the morning, then I'm gonna build the coldest shit. That's just how I am. Right. A lot of creative people, they don't necessarily have that drive in them. They kind of feel like, listen, I'm expressing my soul, right, to you guys, and you need to be grateful that I'm doing this for you. And then that kind of couples in with the entitlement of our generation, where we feel like, yo, like we should kind of have this already. You know what I mean? Like I'm 24. I got a degree. I have student loans. I need to have a job that pays me enough to pay the student loans. No, motherfucker. What you need to do is you need to go back in time and figure out what career would have got you the most money to get them loans paid off. But you didn't do that. You got a sociology degree, and that's how this whole life thing is working out for everybody. Is everybody's coming up against the wall where it's like, yo, we should be paid. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. It helps and it hurts that there's visible there's a visible producer community now, and you can see a lot of young men and even some young women coming out being very successful very, very early in their career. And I think that I think it's great to be able to see that because it inspires a lot of people, but at the same time it gives everybody kind of a disillusioned feeling when they don't get it at that point. And I kind of think that that's kind of what you were saying, right?
Because like I say I saw at that point, that's when all the younger producers started making it big in the game. Like a lot of things like that was around the time like Lex Luger and Southside, and when they came out, they were young, making these
like 19 years old, right?
Yeah, making simple ass beats, but I mean making millions. I'm saying like, damn, they can fucking do it. I saw a bunch of SoundClick producers. That's when SoundClick was a big ass thing, and SoundClick's there still, but I mean that's when it was like big. You saw a bunch of these SoundClick producers, showing off their, $100,000 cars and all. I'm like, shit, they 20, they in their early 20s and shit like that. Why can't I do this shit, So I'm following their past and watching all these videos and seeing all this material stuff of people showing off this and that and having this. And I'm like, you know what? Shit, I'm around the same age. I can do it too. But then the reality is it don't work like that for everybody. And even in that, they probably been doing it more years than that before then. They could have been in that 3 or 4 years prior to that before they got to that point. And I didn't know that, but just by seeing what I saw, you know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's what keeps a lot of people from going further because they see like it don't happen. Like they might be like, say, I'm 27 years old. I know a bunch of people, my friends who are music and producing all that, they quitting right now. I'm like, why? Like, why y'all quit? I'm 27, still going on. I've been doing this since I was 15. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I almost did quit, but I'm still doing it at 27. Why y'all quit? Well, it just wasn't happening. I wasn't making no money. But well, shit. I mean, hell, next year could have been your year. You get, that bag. You don't know. Why'd you stop? I mean, and I think that's what it is. Like, because everybody sets a time limit for themselves.
You know what time limit they set? They give themselves the 30 time limit.
I hate that. I hate that.
Because supposedly when you turn 30, you get fatter than you're ever going to be.
I'm fat now.
If you're a woman, you were no longer sexually attractive when you turn 30.
That's damn blue.
I see the meme where they were like, look at Beyonce. She's 36. She has 2 kids in this body. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, women hit their prime when they're from 32 to 36.
Exactly, man.
Like, bro. Anyhow, I don't want to be chauvinist.
What's the saying? Shit, I forgot the saying something about wine, like more age on wine. I don't know. Y'all know wine gets better over time. Age.
But I think that's another thing. Like another thing I wanted to touch on is like that 30 number. That 30 number fucks you up. And the thing is, and this is gonna be a recurring theme with this podcast. But y'all have let social media fuck you up,
boy.
Okay. You have let it mess you up because what you see on social media is not the real world. You know what I mean? Like it's not the real world. Everything you see on social media. I mean, think about how people act before they post. Like girls gotta like set the frame right. Then they gotta throw a filter on everything. Dudes want to make sure they got their rent money cashed out so they could act like it's what they're flipping on. It's all fake. So if you go by what you're seeing on YouTube and Twitter from other production groups as a bar for success per your age, you're doing yourself a disservice because what winds up happening is you put this, you say, okay, because I did it, so I know. You say, okay, by the time I'm 30, I need to have this, right? And you don't get that, you feel like you failed, you freaked out, and then you just give up. But here's the thing you don't realize about your 30s, bro. The thing about your 30s is they're way better than your 20s. Your 30s are your 20s with money.
But they don't know that. They don't
understand. Hold up. I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back.
Go kill them.
Say it again for the people in the back. Your 30s are your 20s with money. So when I think about the stuff that I used to do when I was 20, right? When I was 20, I would go and it would be like 8 of us, and we would, we would all throw down so we could get the VIP in the club. We get the $400, get the bottle, and then do that, bro. The shit that I do now, dog. Like I'm talking about, it's ridiculous. Like I'm talking about like brunches at the Mondrian, the model, all the models is walking by, downtown Miami stuff, playoff games, going to see the Knicks versus the Sixers in Madison Square Garden on Christmas, and it's nothing because I'm an adult, I have money now. So that's going to be the situation that you're in when if you get to a point where you haven't made significant gains in your production career. Once you get into your 30s, you're going to have this 10-year block of experience of when you're an artist. And if you take the mentality to look at it like that now, you're gonna realize, when you're in your 30s, you're gonna have a budget. Like that's what that means, bro. Like my production career from when I was in my 20s to my 30s, like I was able to do all the things I wanted to do in my 30s because all of a sudden I had income. Now when I was in my 20s, it's like I need $1,000 to make a website. That's crazy, bro. Like how do people do it?
Hey, y'all was broke as fuck. I'm still at my 20s, but I'm a late 20s. But my early 20s, I was broke as fuck. I was broke. I ain't got no money. I was broke if I was, buying shit I didn't need, wasting money on shit I didn't need, going places I didn't need to go. Stupid shit. Now, now I'm getting close to 30. I'm shit like, I got so much money saved. I'm like, damn, I can do what I need to do, take care of my family and all that. Plus, still have time to put into my craft, like my sites, my marketing, my studio if I need to, or the other studios. I got time to do that, and I had the money to do that. And like, say, man, like, I don't know, this age. This age is
so it's nothing. Yeah. It's nothing to be it's the whole point is it's nothing to be afraid of. Like it's nothing to say, listen, if I didn't do it by this time, I failed, because what you're gauging it against is you're gauging it against the false hologram. You're gauging it against the music industry. The music industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry where they are committed to purposely picking out young and sexy looking people and putting them up in the forefront and making them appear to be the most successful everything. You can't let that be the benchmark of your success. That can be like the dream, like that could be the equivalent of making it to the NBA. But bro, my little brother was a legit point guard. I'm saying, went around, played in the D League, didn't make it to the league, but he played in Panama, he played in Puerto Rico. He was body in the perfect way so that he could be a ball player. So because he learned all that, he was able to turn it into his own company, to where now he does nutrition, where they deliver you your meals. So if you're trying to be a healthy person, which in Miami, that's everybody, because it's a very you have to look sexy. Like you just have to, or you're a piece of shit. You just have to.
Go ahead and somebody year round.
Yeah. So anything that can make that easier, he can facilitate that for him. And he's been able to make a business for himself. He employs 12 of his friends from high school. Like he's a community off that. He did not reach his goal of making the NBA, but he was able to, he was, by the age he wanted to, but he was able to flip it into something. And that's the thing that you could do with your music. You don't have to be the producer who's producing, the Billboard Top 100 hits. You can wind up doing music. You can wind up doing movies. You could do video games. You can do karaoke flips. There's so many different means of revenue through this music economy.
We need to talk about that one day. Like on the
we'll come back to that next week. But there's so many different ways that I think the one thing that the producer community does that's a huge disservice to themselves is there's only one benchmark of success, and the only benchmark of success for the producer community is placements, and that's garbage, because most of y'all boys is getting raped on your placements anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I've been chasing placement. I don't know how long. I gave up on placement. I looked at this. Now, let's say I make sell most of my beats through, actually being in the studio of the artist. Like I said, I'm in the 2 different studios all the time. And also, like I said, I do TV and movie licensing myself. Like I send myself out for TV commercials and movie license as well. And I ain't got to worry about, hey, did the producer, did the artist like this, or did the artist like one? And it's like, shit, they like, make it like this, send it to us, we're going to take it. Oh, if it sounds, the criteria we need, we got it. Here go your check. Your check is coming. That type of thing. Like, I mean, people are focus. Like I said, people are trying to be like the people that they see make like on like you said, Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, I don't know, whatever fuck y'all be watching and be on. Y'all trying to be like those guys who got all the money and all that, which is cool. I mean, it's cool to look up to them and be like, you know, yeah, I want to strive to be like that, but don't look at like you have to do what they do. You have to, you know, they're getting all these placements and this that. You don't have to do that, you know, to make it in the industry or whatever.
I mean, not only that,
in the industry, just to make it in general. Like, I mean, really,
yeah,
I mean,
there's not that many of those spots.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's the demand for content has grown more, so more of those spots have opened up. So
Right.
it looks like, you know, it looks really great. And you if you put your mind to it, you absolutely can get to that spot. But what you what you have to do is you have to do what these guys did. See, they don't tell you about the, you know, the $500 and $600 marketing courses that they picked up and watched.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're not talking about that. They're not talking about the research that they've done, you know, through their different customer bases. They're not talking about cultivating their email marketing. They're not talking about, you know, the marketing degree that they may have had, you know, or that their girl has. They're not talking to you about the other people that they're working with.
They'd be like, yo, get on Twitter, find somebody who say they need beats and send it to them. That's how they tell you.
Yeah.
They're
not projecting. See, because here's the thing about production, right? As far as like selling beats and stuff, yeah, there's a lot of producers, and if you're naive, you think that selling beats is just about making good beats and putting it out there and people buying it.
No.
But because you believe that, you tend to believe that production is overcrowded. Production isn't overcrowded because there's probably 20, no lie, there's probably 20, you know, internet producers. I hate that term. I think we're all just producers, but
Yeah.
there's probably 20 internet producers that are actually marketing the correct way. So if the whole point is if you're in your 20s right now and you want to get to that place, you know, you need to start notching out portions of your time to where you actually study marketing. Like, I mean, like really study the shit. I mean, and shit, if you're in school trying to get a degree and you're majoring in something, bitch, minor in marketing, dude. Like you're sitting there, you have the resources, you know, at your feet to go and learn these things. You know, surround yourself with other, you know, don't make your circle of friends music creators. Make your circle of friends people who are entrepreneurs and you know, and independent marketers, so that the conversations that you can start, that you have, turn from, man, you know, fucking I can't stand Cash Money AP, you know, he anchored all the Young Thug type beats and now I can't fucking place a Young Thug type beat. No, bro, you need to start having conversations of like, hey, what's your you know, what's your pixel conversion going on with that? What do you think about BeatStars inserting their picture onto everything? Is that even legal? Like, you need to like if you don't know what the word pixel is right now, you're hustling backwards. Queued Up Productions wants to know how to get contacts for TVs and placements. So we're gonna have to come back and definitely do a podcast on that, because I kind of feel like
it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's definitely not a hard thing. Like I said, because the reason I got into it because my mentor, he does it. My mentor does it, who taught me all about sound design, how to sell my beats and songs and stuff online. He's taught me all that stuff, you know, and he got me into it. And then he's pretty much grooming me to do it by myself. So right now I'm working under him, but he's grooming me and teaching me some stuff to where I can get my own clients, you know, get my own networks and all that. So I can just be like, hey, I got a beat. Here it is. I can send out, they come to me type thing. But it's not as hard as you think. It is definitely easier if you know somebody who knows how to do it. But if you don't, there's definitely ways of doing it. I mean, it's one of them things that you probably can find people who teach it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not really, nobody's really searching that thing. So you don't have, like the music lease licensing thing it's so open because nobody's really, there's like a handful of people who do it. And people think it's like, you know, big time people. No, that's a great market to go to. Video games, movie, TV, and all that. So yeah, we'll definitely come to podcast.
Bro, and not only that, like you know, to stay on it, most of my mixing work comes from producers who are licensing beats because they're producing so many beats at such a rapid pace that they don't have time to mix it. So they don't have a problem, and they don't have a problem sending me, you know, $75, $100 to mix their beats.
Right.
You know what I mean? So think about that. Think about you as a producer right now at your stage of your production career. Imagine what it would be like to be able to have me on call to just be like, hey, you know, here's some tracks. I need to mix them. The money's in your PayPal account. You don't even have to worry about it because you know you're going to be making $400 a month off that thing for the, you know, for the season of whatever show it's going to be on.
Yeah. Yeah, and we had him mute for a minute. I got a question too. Somebody said, do we trust Airbits or Airbust and BeatStars and them? Do we trust whatchamacallit, beat selling websites?
Ooh, hold up.
You gotta let the puppy out. That's I mean, I don't know. I said I'm confused. When you say don't,
hold on. Let him clarify that question.
Yeah,
what do you mean? What do you mean by trust?
He said, "Yeah, don't like trust." You mean like, do we trust them with our money? Do we trust them with marketing? I mean, like, because there's so much stuff going on with that. Like, I mean, it's kind of hard to say like exactly. I mean, you know, and to me, it's just another beat selling website. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really. I say that's not even partially. That's not even like a pinch of money I make. You know, for now, I don't really. I use BeatStars for kids for selling my drum kits and shit. Honestly, like I do upload beats there, but I use it mostly for my kids because I don't feel like making a website. I just want to, you know,
hey Slim,
my kids.
Let me ask you something real quick. Do you have the and we gotta have we didn't do it this week, but we gotta have Gasoline Greg on to break this down too. But do you have your customer emails from the kits that you sell on BeatStars.com?
Yes, I do. I get them. Yeah.
How do you get them?
They come through my Gmail. They go straight to my Gmail. Like every time they make a request or buy something, it goes straight to my Gmail. It says, hey, you say like such and such, name the person, email this, just successfully purchase one of your kits.
And it's there, and now are they giving you their PayPal email?
It's giving me the G. I don't know. Let me take a look. I'm not sure. I can tell you right. Like I just made a couple of sales today.
Yeah, because I was talking to Greg about this, and he brought up a very very interesting point.
See, if I'm not sure, because it's just saying it just show an email.
Yeah, you're not sure. Are you?
It could be PayPal, or it could be, you know.
Because here's the thing: if they're giving you the PayPal email, a lot of the times people's PayPal email isn't their personal email. Right. So if you're trying to, do what you should be doing, which is collecting all these contacts and then using this to advertise your new products, that's what I do when I have a new kit come out. I see all the people that bought the old kit, and then I'm like, hey, you guys bought the old kit, let's buy the new one, because the way that customers work is like we ain't out here looking for leads, we're out here looking for buyers. Right. So if you buy something from Craftmaster Productions and I see that and I see like, yo, you support me, you're down, you spend money with me, we have a different relationship. Any of you guys that's bought stuff from me, you already know that. But the thing about something like BeatStars is it's not an issue of trust. It's an issue of how convenient are you making it for me to get the information that I actually need from you. Because the thing about BeatStars and Track Train and Airbit is they're all gonna posture and pose as, like, we're here for the producer community. No,
he just clarified. No. He just clarified to, he said, are they reliable to getting our beats out there, or are they just running the hustle? Are we funding their hustle? Definitely.
Okay, no, we're definitely funding their hustle. Yeah. But here's, I'm gonna give you the information so you can decide if it's worth it or not. Because right now I have my stuff, full disclosure, right now I still have my stuff up on BeatStars right now. Yeah. And the reason why is because I've already paid for the fucking year. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna get my money's worth. Next year I'm gonna be exploring some new options, and this is what I'm gonna get into. The thing about BeatStars, Airbit, Track Train, and all that stuff is they're there to make a profit. Right. Okay. That's what they're there to do. And they're there and what they're profiting on. And this is what a lot of creative people don't understand. What they're profiting on is your information. The most important thing in the digital economy right now is buyer information. Again, when you're selling goods online, what you're looking for is a database of buyers. So BeatStars, and you're looking for big fields of data. So that's that's why BeatStars will give you, yeah, we'll give you the account for free. We'll host all your beats, and on top of that, we'll we won't charge you any commission. So what are we giving them? What we're giving them is we're giving them all of the information about our buyers,
Right.
and then we're saying you can do whatever you want with that information. You could do whatever you want with that information. You've got the information of the buyers. Now you could choose that in your own way. So, and the that company knows that it's what they went and did is, when you look at marketing and what's really valuable on the internet, that is the most valuable thing. So there's all different types and forms of types of companies that will posture as they're helping one community to come together and be this huge social network in this huge marketplace. And then the way that they benefit off it is from the information. Like, like Gasoline Greg is writing right now, your email list is a distribution channel. It's the way that you get new products to the existing company. It's much harder to get a new customer than to sell a new product to an existing customer.
Right.
So that's why it's so important. Like, yeah, BeatStars, thanks for giving me my customer's PayPal email, but what's the email that they registered from the site for?
Exactly.
Because that's the important one. So once you know that, then you can kind of make a decision and say, okay, well, I don't know how to write up beat lease contracts. I collaborate with a lot of artists, and they're also on BeatStars, and they make the splits easy. I don't know how to make websites, stuff like that. If you're, if you feel like that you can still build a business by giving up those emails, right, and get yourself up and running, then yeah, BeatStars and Airbit and all that stuff, that's a great option for you, because it's going to cut out the time that it would take to put all those systems in place. And I'm a big proponent of, don't try to strengthen your weaknesses, strengthen your strengths and turn them into superpowers. You know what I mean?
Somebody also want to get a definition, just a quick summary of a pixel, because you mentioned that earlier. I told them that we probably could go over that in another podcast, but they just want to know a quick summary real quick, if you don't mind.
It's a cookie, and it allows you to track certain actions on your website. So if I make a Facebook ad and I say, and it says Arrangement Arsenal 2 is available now, click here, and then I attach the Facebook pixel to it. I can then say, okay, Facebook, this person who clicks, I want you to follow them to my website, and the pixel will follow them to the website and let me know what they do. Did they click on the product? Did they buy the product? And then based off of that information, I know that this user who signed into my marketplace and registered under this name and has this email, now I could take all that information and I say, okay, these 100 people bought Arrangement Arsenal Volume 2. So I know when Arrangement Arsenal Volume 3 comes out, the first thing I do is create an email campaign for them and say, hey, what's up, everybody? You know what I mean? And I already have their information in my system. They registered in their first and last name. So I'm making an email that says, hey, what's up, Brandon? Hey, what's up, Bob? Hey, what's up, Robert? And to provide that personal information and that personal interaction and say, boom, I have this new product coming out for you.
There you go. Instead
of just making a YouTube video saying, hey, this product is available, and then sitting back in my chair and being like, man, all these motherfucking YouTube creators, they were full of shit, bro. No, I put the responsibility on me to sell.
Right.
So that's what doing these things does. It shifts the responsibility onto you, and it puts the success in your hands. So when you, again, going back to the question about BeatStars Airbit, when you have these companies who are taking little pieces of that freedom, as you become more powerful in your marketing and working out your own digital ecosystem to sell your stuff, you'll then grow to resent that. Like the shit that happened with BeatStars, how they were putting their pixel on other people's websites, and that shit was not cool.
Right.
And the reason why it wasn't cool is because they didn't ask permission to do it. And they did, and the other thing that they didn't do is they didn't tell anybody that they were doing it. So they came out and they rolled it back and they claimed they were like, yo, we were doing this to test the new whatever reason you gave. I should have got an email about that.
Right.
Okay. Whoever is on BeatStars, we should have got an email and you should have let us know that you were tracking the shit. But the reason why they don't tell you that stuff is because they're doing something that you wouldn't approve of.
It is.
Whatever it is,
whatever
it is, you know what I'm saying? I have an interesting conspiracy theory about what they were doing. I'm not going to publicly say it out loud, but I just believe that, you know, if you know, you could kind of read between the lines on it, but if I had access to all these returning customers and say a couple years prior to this, I had an event where I let people buy stock into my company, maybe, you know, maybe a perk of that would be having access to some information that everybody else doesn't have that could help you make more money.
And there you go. So yeah, I mean, the game is sneaky. I think you gotta be careful what you do and what you put out there. But I mean, you gotta know what you're getting into wherever you go, whatever you sign up with. You just know what you're getting into and do your research. Like, do thorough research. Like, a lot of people just look at all the benefits and all the good stuff that come with signing up for these places and all that, and they don't really look at, you know, what else could happen. You know, so I'm glad you said that.
Somebody's so, you don't take time coding and programming a system like that and hosting and not come up. I mean,
yeah,
this company went from nothing to like being valued at millions of dollars. And how are they being valued at millions of dollars if they're sending all of the money that the customers, like, this is what they do. They advertise to customers buy stuff, and then they send that money to the creators, right? So it seems like, so what profits are they making? Are they just making profits off of subscriptions? Most people have the free version of the fucking site. So there's something else that they have that's worth millions of dollars. And what it is, it's your customers' information.
Information the key to everything, man. The more you know, the better off you are in this world. That's how it is. That's the way for any business or anything. But yeah, somebody said I might just drop Airbit after this podcast.
Dude, I mean, that's not the point. Don't get it confused. If you're confident that you can have Airbit on your site and it's not going to affect your business,
do it.
Then go for it. If you have you know, a beat selling service and you're not selling any beats, maybe you should take the focus off of paying for this service and learn how marketing works.
Right.
And then decide if you need it. Because I think the problem is where people get into these sites and everything, and what's lost is they think the site is going to sell the music, and the site is not going to sell the music.
Let's spend like that, whatever they do for their front page marketing crap and all that type of thing. You know, putting like $500,000 into marketing every month to get seen first in front of everybody. Like I said, I use BeatStar just for my kids. I don't use it for my beat sales because, you know, I got artists I can just go up to and they come to me that buy, you know, but I had to build that relationship with all of them. So that's me, you know. That's me, you know. But everybody's different, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it helps you sell beats, I say go for it. But, you know, like I said, in my situation personally, I don't use it for selling beats because I know I ain't selling no beats on BeatStars. I admit that. But, you know, I use it for my kids and everything like that because I like the direct approach of selling beats, even though you don't really need to do that nowadays, you know, with the internet.
Yeah, no, I hear that. That's how I sold most of my beats before I started selling beats online. You know, once I was schooled to the whole marketing aspect of it, and I was like, oh, okay, that's how they're doing it now. Now it works. But let's talk about 808s.
Get the mix real quick. Let's get into some studio. I think when it blew some minds too much there. But I'm glad y'all wanted to hear this stuff too. I'm glad y'all want to see. Hopefully it helps some people out. You know, it helps you progress in your career. So, but now what everybody wants to know, the second part of the title, them kicks and 808s. Like, how do we get the things to sound right? What are your ways to get your kicks and 808s knocking?
Well, this is what this is to go back to something that we talked about on the previous podcast. I think that first of all, when you go and you first make a beat, right? And then you listen to it and you're like, man, my kicks and my 808s don't sound good. I need to know how to get it to sound like Metro Boomin. Then you go into a tutorial that's how to make a kick and an 808 sound like Metro Boomin. And now you're listening to an experienced producer tell you how to make a kick in the 808 sound like Metro Boomin, and they're telling you about EQ, and they're telling you about distortion. Typically, but they never mention gain staging.
Right.
They never mention gain staging because somebody who's more experienced than that is going to leave that out. They're going to assume that you already know that.
Right.
So I think my kicks and my 808s, it was always like a mixed bag, luck of the draw. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't, until I went back and really understood the basics of mixing, and then it became super easy. What do I do to make my 808s and kicks sound good? Number one, I have an amazing 808 kick. All right. I use one 808 kick in probably the 300 beats that I've made this year. I've maybe deviated from it maybe 20 times. It's one 808 kick that I found. It works for this time. It's called the I don't know it's called the 36 ounce 808. It's from a Superstar O Trap Legend. I think it's Trap Legends Volume 2 is the pack it comes out of. Okay, and I have 808 packs from Sound Oracle. I have 808 packs from Illmind, but this one 808, it works on every beat. So I find an 808 that works. You don't need to chase a specific 808s out. I say that first. You don't need to go get the Spins 808, because the Spins 808, it's a little hard to make sound good. Like that 808 is kind of trash, bro. But people use it because it's what they're it's what their favorite producer uses. So one, and the reason why I like this 808 so much is because it's already distorted. Okay, so I don't have to go and do a whole bunch of weird shit to my 808 to make it sound good. And every stream I do, everybody's all like, "Yo, what's that 808?" Da, 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 da. I just got lucky and I found it in the pack. So number one, you got to trust yourself. You have to trust yourself with your sound selection, and don't get into the habit of chasing every 808 from every different tutorial. You find one kick or one 808 and you master this kick. Now, the second thing that I do to make the kick in the 808 work, listen, the Spins 808 and the rack kick.
The rack kick.
Right?
Oh god.
The Spins 808 and the rack kick is the sound of modern trap music. Okay.
God, it is.
Okay, so what I did is I got the rack kick and I looked at it and I studied it, and I was like, because I'm the type of person, I don't want to use the same kick that everybody's using. I just don't want to do that.
Right. And I see what he's saying. I'm the same way when it comes to that kind of thing. Like I try to watch, I try to watch what samples I use, and I'm like you, man. I use the same damn samples too. Like I got one, like my 808s. I don't even use 808s. That's crazy thing. I don't even use 808s. I use sub bass, and people are like, I use a fucking sub sine wave. I don't give a fuck. I mean, because you could turn a sine wave or just a sub bass period into an 808 with 80. If you understand ADSR,
yeah, easy.
Yeah, you can turn it. You can turn it into any damn 808 you fucking want. Like you can make it sound like anything. I can make the goddamn spin 808 if I want to off of one little sine wave. Real. So that's what I use. But yeah.
No, but once I took the rack kick and I understood what it was, I was like, okay, this is a short release kick. It doesn't have a big long tail. It doesn't have hold up. It don't have like a hi-hat, put over it. It doesn't have like a lot of noise. It's just a short kick that doesn't have a lot of high frequencies on it, right?
Yeah.
So once I understood that and I looked at it in a waveform, so now I could go through any kit and I see, okay, the little kicks, that's what I stack on the 808. You know what I'm saying? So now that I knew that, boom, I got into tuning my drums. So I started thinking, because again, mixing is a mindset. What mixing is, it's being able to identify a set of problems and being able to employ a solution. If you can't identify your problems, you can't solve them. So the problem that a lot of people have is when you're mixing a kick with an 808, you're not conscious of the relationship that they have below 60 hertz, because maybe your kick is hitting at an A flat or whatever, it's hitting at an A note, right? And then your 808 is it like D sharp, so you're clashing right there. Once you line those both up into either a relationship where it's the fifth of the 808 or it's at the same root note, a lot of that extra shit that you do to mix the kick, you don't even need, because now you don't have a situation where the waves are phasing each other out. The reason why sometimes a kick gets lost behind an 808 is because it's not at the right note, so it's phasing out. So boom, you solve the phase relationship. You got the tone, you got the tone already set off because you found your good sample. Now all you need is just a little bit of gain staging. So I know that in the hip hop song, it's all mentality, right? I know in the hip hop song, the kick is the loudest part. So I make sure that my 808 isn't louder than my kick.
But some people don't get that. Some people want the 808 to sound loud. I guess because it's what people listen to as well. Like, what is the listening environment that you're in as well? That will play a part as well, depending on what you mix with and which. And
well, no, that's true. But and you also have to reference. See, the thing is, like, you have to. The other thing that kind of helped me out with this journey is paying attention to what my music sounded like after I put mastering plugins on it, after I ran it through Ozone. So I noticed that if I had my 808 up around, anything above like 12 dB, I couldn't get my songs to be as loud as the beats on SoundCloud or anything like that. And that's because as I went back and I did more research, I realized that 808s take up a huge amount of headroom from a limiter. So I was like, all right, what's the lowest I can tune the 808, put a limiter on it, squash the hell out of the track, and make it sound loud. And now I'm able to I put my 808 at like -18 dB.
Right.
And then my kick is at -6, and it's always it works.
But I also want people to know that there's no rules of this. Like, we're telling you what we do that works for us. Keep that in mind. So don't take this as law. There's no 10 commandments of beat making, which I think there's a video out there called that, which whoever made that's just dumb. But yeah, there's no set rules on how to make beats or how to produce or how to.
No, there is no set rules, but at the same time, there is
basics.
There is a finite gain staging guideline that you can use that your mix will always translate from system to system. And it's more about ratios, right? So like for example, my kick is always at -6, and my 808 winds up somewhere, depending on the root note of the song, it winds up somewhere between -12 and -18. So that is a 6 to 8 dB ratio between the kick and the 808, right? So if for some reason I was in a different DAW and I had my kick at -0, then I could just by the same math, turn my 808 down to -6, and I'll still have the same relationship. You see what I'm saying? Because you're moving both of the faders up at the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm reading somebody comment. Somebody said, "Can you slap a gain stage? I guess plug in on a channel, bounce it to a wave, then process." No, because that's all in the
gain staging. Yeah, gain staging isn't a plugin. Gain staging is the relationship between your sounds. See, the first thing that you that an engineer does when you send him your stems is he does what's called balancing the track. And balancing the track is, see, gain staging is an old word, right? Gain staging comes from recording audio in to a tape.
Yeah.
And what that process was, it was setting all of the inputs into the recording device so that they hit the recording device at a certain level so that nothing distorted, right? And we take that same principle into the digital world, but we're not really doing that process because we're coming out of plugins, right? So the idea behind it is so that you're coming out of your plugins into the mixer on your in your DAW at a level so that when you put mastering plugins on it, you raise the volume up to a commercial level, and nothing starts farting or anything like that. You just have a loud ass beat.
Yeah, that's why everybody's like, you want to have a certain amount of headroom on your master channel so you can do that, so you can raise it. Because if you have no headroom, guess what? When you're if you're like a dB or two away from zero, you can't push it no far past zero because zero is distortion and clip and all that. You can't go past zero in the digital world. It just chops it out. In the analog world, you can go past zero all you want, and it actually saturates and clips and all that.
Cool,
yeah, you get some cool shit. Like, because if you look at like old school mixing consoles and all that, like the SSL boards like that, they push it past the red because it distorts and clips in a certain way. Digital, you do this, it's gonna be just a bunch of gargly mess. It just chops off everything. You just start losing information the further you push it. So yeah, gain staging will help you, you know, be able to push your songs to a level to where it's perceived to be louder, because you're not really getting louder songs because you can't go past zero, but it is perceived to be loud. That's what RMS is, root mean squared. So therefore, you always want to focus on your RMS levels than your peak levels, because you know that's a whole different topic from that thing. But yeah, gain staging is key to everything. Like if you don't set your levels right, you can't nothing will fit together. It's like getting a bunch of stuff and putting in a small box. You got a bunch of stuff put in a small. You can't fit everything in that small box. You need a bigger box. So you got
337 Media Studios says it's like a giant trying to live in a tiny house.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. So, hey, go straight through the roof and boom, break it. And ain't what's gonna happen.
but I think I think to kind of shorten up the answer of what you're asking about what I do to get my because now it's all in the template. I don't ever mix an 808 now. Like the way my production template runs is I don't really mix anything. The DAW mixes it for me now, which is some next level shit. But the way that I got to that point was my mentality. You have to have the mentality when you go into mix that this is all about the relationship and volume between your sounds. You know what I mean? It's not about how to make this hit harder. Whatever's loud in the mix is going to hit the hardest. If your kick is the loudest thing in the mix, it's always going to slap. You're not going to have to fucking do parallel compression. And see, the thing about like parallel compression and all these older tactics that people used to use, they were employed to solve problems that were presented by the production techniques of the day. So like, right. You know, something like parallel compression, people were coming out of MPCs and SP1200s and going directly into a digital board, and they were sampling kicks off of records, and sometimes some of the sound would get lost in that process. So they would run a parallel compressed track of just the drums to beef that up. Now the samples that we use inside of a DAW, you don't need to do things like that.
They're already ready to go.
They're already smack flipped and rubbed down, ready to beat out of the speakers.
And plus, it's like a higher bit quality as well too.
Super high quality, dude. Like you get you an Illmind kit or a Sound Oracle kit. You know what I mean? You get stuff like that. You don't need to touch those drums. The only thing that you need to do, as far as getting them to sound good, is maybe tune them a couple semitones up and down to
fit your beat, fit the key of your beat and stuff.
Yeah, so someone just asked me if I gain stage before or after bouncing. I gain stage in my template. You know, I mean, the way that the way that my template runs is like this. Okay, so I know that my kick needs to be at -6 dB. That's the loudest point of my track, and that so that's going to be at -6 dB. Then I've got all of my instruments there. You know, I play I'll play a pattern, and they're all at a volume to where the sum of that volume won't be louder than -20 dB. So if you have all of your instruments like together on a bus, this is why I use buses so much. If you have like an instrument bus with all your instruments going to it, and you set it up so that it's -20 dB when it comes out of that bus, and you set your drum bus up so that the sum of that drum bus is -6 dB coming out, your beat is always going to smack. Always.
That's it.
Always. But it's just taking the time to set that up. You know what I mean? And then with plugins like tonal balance control, where I can
that's what Ozone, ain't it?
Yeah. Do you use that?
Yeah, I got the whole Ozone suite. I haven't used it yet.
Do you use tonal balance control though?
I haven't used it yet. I haven't played with it yet, but I need to.
Yo, I would sleep on tonal balance control. Let me tell you about tonal balance control and how amazing it is. What it does is I took you can take I have mixed tool on my buses. You can take you could take a song, right? And what I do is I do it with instrumentals because that's mostly what I'm mixing. So I took I think my favorite beat mix is White Iverson. I love the balance in that song. What I did is I took the highest quality White Iverson song I could have, and I run it through tonal balance control, and what it does is it creates an EQ curve for you, right?
You got aim for something like that, right?
Yeah. But not only that, it creates a compression threshold as well. So now I can see, have I filled up the same frequency range as the White Iverson instrumental, and am I more or less compressed than it? So I hit those two sweet spots, and I can mix a track on my fucking laptop speakers, and I'll translate across any system.
There you go. So I ain't looking at that. I've been using I use Mix Checker a lot. That's one thing I've been using for a lot, because it like it's pretty good. And I also use what's the other fucking plugin I use? All I do is I clip a lot of my shit. I like clipping. Like I like clipping.
I seen that. I
love clipping.
I almost bought that plugin fucking with your video.
Is a shit. Cake. If you want shit loud without distorting, K-Clip is the plugin. It's the best clipper. Like I said, I do a lot of clipping. Like that's why I get my loudness, because I mean, I know a lot of people like clipping. Slim, that's you're hitting the red and it's too loud. No, it's different between clipping and distortion. And it's
you're soft clipping. From what I can see, you're soft clipping.
Soft clipping is beautiful, dude. It's what analog does. Analog soft clipping.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But damn, we going in for an hour, man. We might have to wrap this up. I'm about to head out in a second, but any closing thoughts before we back out, man?
Yeah, I just want to say, as the whole thing with mixing kicks and 808s, I want you guys to move away from all the tutorials where it's showing a whole bunch of plugins and a whole bunch of EQ. Right. This is if you're having trouble with it. Start with the relationship between the kick and the 808. Try this out. Put your kick at -6 dB. Put your 808 at -18. If you feel like you got to bump it up, just make sure you don't bump it up above -12. -12 is going to be screaming. It's going to be too much. And then mix your whole beat around that. Okay, start there. If you want powerful 808s, start there. Mix your whole beat around that, and then do a couple beats like that. Now, if you find yourself where you're like, man, this is close, but it's not where I want it to be, then go to the tutorials of distortion, saturation, right, soft clipping, and sidechain compression. I'm gonna give you guys. I'm gonna give you guys a pro plug. What the hell is it? Oh my god, Wave Shaper.
Wave Shaper.
Yeah. It's the side train. It's the side chain. Hold up, wait. I gotta pull it up because I want to be correct.
Wave Shaper. Is it by who's it by?
It's hold on.
You put me on something.
Let me make sure I get the right one.
But you say Wave Shaper, I'm thinking FL Studio Wave Shaper.
I might be talking about NFL plugin. What the hell is it called? Greg, what's the plugin called, bro? Real quick on the chat. Tell me, please. Is it possible to mix an 808 bass line and an 808? Or I know somebody. Yeah. I know somebody down in Track Spacer. That's what it's called. Track Spacer. This is the most important plugin of 2016. Or 2017. If you don't have this plugin, you have to have this plugin. This plugin is amazing. If you use sidechain compression, what it is it has it's not a compressor. What it does is it turns down the frequency bands of what you're feeding it. So if I'm sending it, like if regular sidechain, what it does is it hears a signal and then it turns the volume of the overall track that you're sidechaining down, right? So if I'm sidechaining an 808 and I send something to it and I'm telling it turn it down 3 dB, it turns the whole signal down 3 dB. What Track Spacer does is it analyzes the frequencies that you're sending it, and it only turns down those frequencies. So like that high rumble of the 808
right
remains untouched by my side chaining, but it just turns down that 60 to 200 range where the 808 is clashing. And then not only that, you can use it for like mixing 2 tracks. So I could take my vocal bus You know what I mean? And send that to sidechain my, you know, the 2-track beat. So
Right.
every time this vocal comes on, it makes a little dip. Bro.
God more money I got spent now. Goddamn crap. Man. Thank you enough. I already wasted money on some damn UAD plugin. I can go buy this one too. Goddamn.
Bro, it's only 50. It's only $50, and I guarantee you, once you have it, you're gonna be like, bro, I can't believe I spent money on that UAD plugin because all I needed was this. But yeah, man, I just wanted to say that, you know, and as far as you know, the whole BeatStars and shit. Listen, nobody's trying to steal your beats from you.
Right.
Okay. Nobody's trying to steal your music from you. That's not happening. But, you know, I think it's a good place to start. And I also think that it's something that you should grow out of it.
Right. And final thoughts from me is just, you know, don't follow rules for one because of mixing all that. Do what you do. Learn the basics. Once you learn the basics, you can build your own ways of how to do shit and all that, and learn that. Also, when it comes to quitting music, don't quit music. I mean, if you love this and you want to do this as a career, hopefully in the future, because I hope everybody does want to do this at some point as a career, not just a hobby, then don't quit, because you never know when your time may come. I don't care how old you are, whatever. Because think about it, some of the biggest names in the industry are old as fuck. I mean, like some of the best mixers and producers now that are old as shit. So what does that tell you? Age ain't shit when it comes to music. Just don't give up, and don't look at other people and envy them. I mean, get inspiration from people who are above you and all that, but don't envy them. Don't think that you have to do what they do. You have to be big by this certain age or whatnot. Just do music. Don't give up, and I guarantee you'll be a millionaire in no time. Or if not a millionaire, at least see 6 figures, not 6 figures, 5 figures, 5 figures, something. I mean, you'll see something come out of it. You just got to keep going at it. So, all
right, y'all boys, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. This is CMP with Craftmaster Productions, Studio1tutorials.com. Keep it simple, don't be basic.
Y'all know what it is. Your boy Slim, aka MrDifferent. Not motivated by money, but the like, comments, subscribe, and views. It was a good stream, like always. We hope to see you guys next week once again for episode 3. And please leave comments and questions down below, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.